recent years undertaken deliberate measures to revive it. For instance, the formation of the National Automotive Policy, the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya procurement policy, and the Government of Kenya leasing program, just to mention a few. Your Excellency, you have been personally committed to the sector, and you've demonstrated this through several visits to the assembly plants, including AVA, KVM, and Isuzu East Africa, which have strengthened investor confidence and industry growth. Increased government procurement of locally assembled vehicles, particularly through the Kenya Vehicle Leasing for the National Police Services, has further supported the growth of SMEs involved in servicing, repair, and maintenance across the country. In the last 5 years, we only had 70 service centers. We have over 300 touch points, mainly young people and youth. The local vehicle production has also more than doubled over the past 5 years, growing from approximately 7,000 units being produced to 20,000 units being produced annually, and over 200,000 motorcycles per annum. With this, the industry has been able to create about 100,000 jobs across its value chain. These achievements, Your Excellency, demonstrates the critical role of progressive policy intervention in driving economic growth and industrial development. Having made such wonderful progress, the question is, how will we as an industry take advantage of the Samurai Fund to further support the automotive industry? The fund can support the implementation of progressive industry standards, including the KS 1515, aimed at strengthening vehicle safety, improving emission standard, and progressively phasing out imports of used vehicle categories that can be produced locally. Your Excellency, even though we've made progress in commercial vehicle, this fund will support production of CKD passenger vehicles while driving greater uptake both locally and regionally. Kenya already has established a policy for electric vehicle assembly. The fund may support investment in production and associated infrastructure and skills development. Concessional loans could be extended to local content suppliers in Kenya to enable them scale up production and increase local content to at least 40%. This 40% local content, Your Excellency, is critical in strengthening Kenya's competitiveness within the East Africa and the Africa Continental Free Trade Area by enhancing domestic value addition, reducing reliance on imports, and supporting sustainable industry growth. This will position Kenya to achieve high-value export and strengthen its standing in regional and global market. This fund will play a critical role in strengthening bus body construction by enhancing overall building quality, ensuring compliance with high safety standards and manufacturing standards from the OEMs who supply us with these CKD kits. Today, there's an opportunity for automotive-grade steel local production to reduce the high cost of imported chassis frames and metal parts. We are importing a lot of metal, and that metal can be produced here locally, and it will really support the growth of this industry. This fund can then, as I've said, support those suppliers. In addition, it can help bridge the gap between technical training and industrial requirement, as PS Mukwana has already alluded to. But mostly important, this intervention will enable us to harness the potential of our youth. The industry has the capacity to create over 200,000 jobs across the automotive value chain, driving inclusive economic growth and shared prosperity. As we continue to understand the mechanics as in an industry of the fund, we shall continue to engage with the Minister of Investment and Trade and the National Treasury to fully take advantage of this opportunity. As I conclude, Your Excellency, we wish to express our sincere appreciation for the government of Japan and the government of Kenya for their continued support towards the growth of the automotive industry in Kenya. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause, please, for her. Your Excellency, on behalf of NEXI, allow me to now call on Mr. Atsuo Kuroda, Chairman and CEO of NEXI, to make his remarks. Tumkaribishe kwa makofi. Welcome.
Your Excellency, Dr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable John Mbadi, Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury, and Honorary Lee Kinyanjai, Cabinet Secretary for the MITI, and all distinguished representatives of the government of Kenya. I would like to express my sincere appreciation for your inviting us to this memorable occasion in this beautiful place. It's a great honor for me to be here today on behalf of NEXI to celebrate the successful signing of the 25 billion Japanese yen samurai loan facility for the National Treasury of Kenya, backed by NEXI's loan insurance. This finance project has been developed based on the MOU that was signed between the National Treasury and NEXI during Your Excellency President Ruto's visit to Japan in 2024. At TICA 9 last year in Yokohama, in the presence of Your Excellency President Ruto again, and other African leaders, we further demonstrated our progress by signing and announcing the SOI together with the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Mudavadi. This was a highly meaningful achievement, I think, symbolizing the strong commitment and mutual trust between our two countries. Since then, discussions among the relevant parties accelerated significantly, leading to the successful signing of the loan agreement this March. Allow me to express my sincere respect to all those who contributed to this achievement, especially the teams of the Kenyan National Treasury, MITI, and MOE. This facility provides financial support through Japanese yen loans for the national automotive policy, which I believe the government of Kenya is strongly promoting to foster the automotive industry, as well as for the electricity loss reduction program in your transmission and distribution network, which is one of the issues to overcome in Kenya. I believe this initiative will contribute to the industrialization and job creation in Kenya by leveraging the technology of Japanese companies. It is also expected to support decarbonization efforts in Kenya through energy efficiency. We sincerely hope that the necessary budgetary arrangement will be undertaken and that the relevant policies will be carried forward in a consistent manner. By making use of the framework under the MOU we are signing today, and in coordination with the government of Japan, NEXI is willing to continue working in close collaboration with all relevant stakeholders to support the appropriate utilization of the loan proceeds and the steady implementation of the related policies by the government of Kenya. Finally, I would like to close my words by reiterating my sincere appreciation to all who have contributed to the realization of this project. I wish for the continued prosperity of the Republic of Kenya and for the friendship between Kenya and Japan to further deepen and endure for many years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Your Excellency, before we proceed to the signing and witnessing of the signing of the MOU this afternoon, allow me to invite the Charge d'Affaires ad interim of Japan to Kenya, Mr. Tononobu Hori, to make his remarks. Let's welcome him with a clap, please. Welcome.
Your Excellency, Dr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya. Your Excellency, Musalia Mudavadi, Prime Cabinet Secretary. Honorable John Mbadi, Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury. Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, Cabinet Secretary for Investments, Trade and Industry, Mr. Kuroda Atsuo, Chairman and CEO of Nippon Export and Investment Insurance, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor to be able to attend this signing ceremony today. On behalf of the Embassy of Japan to Kenya, I warmly congratulate the Government of Kenya, Nippon Export and Investment Insurance, and SMBC on the signing of this Samurai Finance Facility. At approximately 20 billion Kenyan shillings, this is a huge commitment. At the same time, this is a clear sign of Japanese strong confidence in Kenya's future. Today's signing is therefore fulfilled thanks to the constructive bilateral meeting at TICAT 9 last year, Your Excellency. I would like to express my sincere gratitude for your outstanding leadership. However, today's signing is not just a single event. It is a part of long shared history between Japan and Kenya. We have worked together for many decades. At the heart of our partnership, we have always believed one thing: the best investment we can make is in people. I would like to introduce some examples. First is Kengen. Engineers trained by JICA are now sharing their geothermal skills with other countries. Second is Kemuri. Kenyan health professionals trained through Kemuri are helping neighboring countries fighting diseases. This is no longer just aid. This has become Kenya's own strength, built over time, now helping the world. We are very proud to be a part of this journey. And today's signing, I am strongly convinced that this Samurai Finance will contribute to the enhancement of our relations, because this Samurai Finance focuses on two key areas for Kenya's next chapter. The first area is building a local automotive industry. Japan has a lot of experience in this field, and we are happy to share it with Kenya. Making cars locally means creating new jobs, new skills, and deep pride for the country. I look forward to the day when the cars on the streets of Kenya truly show the spirit of Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. I hope the children of this country will look at those cars and say, these were made by Kenyan hands. To make this happen, we also need the right environment. Strengthening rules on used car imports is a very important step. A local industry can only grow when the playing field is fair for everyone. The second area is reducing energy loss. Kenya has amazing green energy resources. However, too much electricity is lost in the power lines before it reaches people. Fixing this problem will help both businesses and homes. Ladies and gentlemen, the incredible economic dynamism is exactly why Kenya continues to attract so many Japanese businesses. Today, more than 130 Japanese companies are working here in manufacturing, finance, pharma, and many other areas. Also, the recent big investment by Japan's Asahi Group in EABL, valued 390 billion Kenyan shillings, shows that we are moving to a new stage. This is no longer just about individual projects. Our economic friendship is growing deeper based on real trust in Kenya. The Samurai Finance is a perfect example of this. It connects Japanese financial markets directly with Kenya's development goals. It is a mature partnership, not based on aid, on shared interest and true mutual trust. Ladies and gentlemen, I, as a representative of the Government of Japan, am fully committed to Kenya's growth and success. Your Excellency, President Dr. Ruto, I was very impressed by your State of the Nation address last November. In your speech, you raised 4 major national priorities, such as investment in your people, to around your country, from a net importer to net exporter, development with abundant, reliable, affordable power, and improvement of transport and logistics. Japan fully agrees to the importance of those points and swears to continue its support, working alongside Kenya. And one day, when Kenya's paved road kilometers surpass Japan's, then support us. No. Better saying, let's support other countries together, hand in hand. Thank you very much.
With your permission, Your Excellency, we will now progress to the signing ceremony, and allow me to invite the signatories, and on behalf of NEXI, to invite Mr. Atsuo Kuroda to take his position at the signing table, and also invite the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury, Honorable John Badi, to take his position. I'll also request that the legal officers who will be helping us with that particular part of the process to provide the documents. Under the National Automotive Policy component, the eligible expenditure items will be financed through an appropriate finance framework to ensure efficient fund utilization by the beneficiaries, which is the private sector. These expenditure items include establishment and enhancement of production facilities to automotive parts manufacturing, enhancement of production capabilities for automotive assembly, investment support for new vehicle dealers transitioning from used vehicles to imported, and financing of approved applicants for locally assembled new vehicle purchases. We'll request that after the signing, the signatories will then just stand for an official photo as they all hold the documents. A louder clap than that. I think it's worth a good clap. Thank you. I'll request that you may take your seats, and as you take your seats, you can sit with the documents. We'll retrieve them later. Your Excellency, allow us to just trail our eyes on the screen for a short video that gives us an overview of what to expect. The video, please.
Assembly plants. Isuzu East Africa in Nairobi, Associated Vehicle Assemblers in Mombasa, and Kenya Vehicle Manufacturers in Thika. Together, these plants give Kenya an installed assembly capacity of nearly 60,000 vehicles a year. In 2025, the sector produced close to 14,000 vehicles, representing about 28% capacity utilization. This is both a contribution to the Kenyan economy and an opportunity for more growth and employment. Isuzu East Africa shows what long-term local manufacturing can achieve. From its Nairobi plant, Isuzu has grown local assembly, after-sales support, local component supplier development, and regional exports. It has achieved 100% local assembly across its commercial vehicles, pickups, and SUVs, and works with a broad chain of local suppliers and to achieve a local content level of 31%. IEA has also invested in capacity for the future. Its electrode deposition paint plant, the only one of its kind in sub-Saharan Africa, expanded annual assembly capacity to 18,000 units. Its Lukenya Part Distribution Center, a Kenya shillings 3.1 billion investment, is designed to strengthen parts availability across the region and support customer uptime. In Mombasa, Associated Vehicle Assemblers add scale and portside advantage. Located close to one of the region's most important trade gateways, AVA has an installed capacity of 30,000 units a year and has assembled vehicles for multiple global brands across passenger, commercial, bus, truck, three-wheeler, and emerging electric mobility segments. AVA is 100% owned by Simba Corporation and operates an approximately 50 acres with about 35,000 square meters of covered area. AVA gives Kenya a portside industrial platform that can receive CKD kits, assemble vehicles for multiple brands, and support regional supply through one of East Africa's most important maritime trade gateways. The plant runs 3 fully multiple assembly lines supported by an in-house paint shop and body conversion facility with an annual installed capacity of 30,000 units. It has assembled 67 different models from 21 OEMs across 9 countries. In Thika, Kenya Vehicle Manufacturers represents the depth of Kenya's assembly history and the next wave of investment. KVM's strength is both historic and strategic. Since starting assembly in August 1976, the Thika plant has grown into a 43-acre industrial facility with 30 acres of covered factory space, 13 acres reserved for future expansion, an in-house paint shop, testing truck and bonded areas. With an installed capacity of 12,000 units a year, KVM gives Kenya a proven platform for multi-brand assembly across pickups, buses, trucks, tippers, prime movers, trailers, and electric buses. Under Sifao's Mobility's renewed investment and shareholding commitment, KVM is positioning Kenya as a regional multi-brand assembly hub. Its growth plan targets more global OEM models, stronger warehousing and logistics infrastructure, and production of more than 2,000 units per month within 3 years. This makes KVM more than an assembly plant. It's one of Kenya's clearest proof points that local vehicle production can create jobs, deepen supplier participation, reduce lead times, and serve regional demand from Kenya. These 3 plans sit inside a wider national advantage. Kenya has Mombasa and Lamu as maritime gateways. It has road and rail corridors into East and Central Africa. It has Nairobi as a financial and services hub. It has a young, trainable workforce. It has regional market access through the East African Community, COMESA, and the African Continental Free Trade Area. The lesson from other countries is clear. Morocco, South Africa, and Egypt did not build automotive strength by chance. They made deliberate choices. They aligned policy, investment, skills, infrastructure, suppliers, and export ambition. South Africa produced over 515,000 vehicles in 2024, contributed 5.2% to GDP, and supports about 500,000 automotive jobs in the value chain. Morocco has built a 700,000 unit production platform, supports about 220,000 automotive jobs, and exported about 17 billion USD in vehicles and components in 2024. Egypt is now targeting 100,000 vehicles a year, 60% local value addition, and deeper domestic component production. Kenya's opportunity is to make the same deliberate choice, build local suppliers, create skilled jobs, and position itself as Sub-Sahara Africa automotive manufacturing hub. This is why the Nexi-backed Samurai Bond is more than a financing instrument. It is a catalyst. It can support development of local content suppliers. It can strengthen technical institutions. It can help modernize testing and validation equipment. It can support standards, safety, emissions compliance, recycling, and the institutions needed to grow the industry. With the right support, Kenya's automotive industry can do more than assemble vehicles. It can create skilled jobs for young people to support.
All right, a clap for that. I think quite elaborate on what to expect from this particular assignment. Your Excellency, with your permission, allow me to now invite the Cabinet Secretary for Trade, Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, who will also give an opportunity to Honorable Mbadi before we invite the Prime Cabinet Secretary to invite His Excellency. A clap for him, please. Welcome, sir.
So thank you. Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Excellency Musalia Mudavadi, my National Treasury colleague, John Bandi, our PSA is here, I see Treasury and Industry, and all the captains of the industry who are here today, special recognition of our friends from Japan, and the industry captains who have been part of this journey. Allow me, Your Excellency, to say that this is a very significant sitting today, because with it, we have the financial or banking sector who will be looking at how we can be able to expand together. We have the manufacturers, the local manufacturers who are already here, and we have now the financing that you have facilitated arising from your visit in Japan in 2024. So, last time when we visited Japan, and we found all the many vehicles that they make there, the first thing we asked, how can Kenya be part of this manufacturing conversation? And we were told there's no capacity, there's no financing for all that. And out of all the problems we were told, we have packaged it and solved it with the Samurai Bond. So with this Samurai Bond, I think all the issues within the industry have been addressed. And more importantly, Your Excellency, we also have the automotive bill that is now going to Parliament. All the investors across the world that you are discussing with, from South Africa to Europe, the first thing they are saying is, we need stability in the industry, so that as we set up our manufacturing, we are sure in 10, 20 years, we'll be able to recoup our investment. And through the automotive bill, we'll be able to address that, and I'm happy we've already discussed this with you, and we'll be able to move forward. Now, very important to note is that the automotive industry is not just about the automotive industry. It has many other associated industries. I know your passion in textile, but as we do the upholstery for the vehicle, we have demand for the upholstery. As we do the leather for the vehicles, for the dashboard and all that, again, you have demand for, for the leather products and all that. So it has a huge multiply effect. And our young men who are out there not too sure what to do will have an opportunity to work meaningfully in the industry. Your Excellency, allow me also to say that in our discussions around how we can improve our exports to the world, we always go with our basket of coffee, tea, and avocado. But as we all know, the value of those compared to finished goods such as vehicles is very different. So as a country, we must improve the value of our export basket. And the first and surest way is through this automotive bill. So Your Excellency, I want to say that arising from our discussions, also with our friends, including South Africa, you are able to help us overcome a very huge challenge of how we can be able to join the automotive supply chain in South Africa, which is the biggest in the continent. And I'm happy to note that out of that, we've had very good conversations, and some of these companies that are here would want to join that. Allow me also to say that of the top 6 richest countries in Africa, South Africa, Egypt, Nigeria, and Algeria, most of them either have oil or minerals. If you don't have those, you must be good in manufacturing. So agricultural produce is good, but we need value addition. And I think this is really the conversation that we would want to bring. Lastly, Your Excellency, allow me to say that we are looking at creating long-term sustainable jobs. Currently, we have about 100,000 jobs in the auto industry. I was discussing with some of the auto suppliers, and some of them are supplying as far as Zambia, Ethiopia, and all these countries around us. That is good. But one of the biggest constraints towards the expansion has been capital. And that now has been resolved. So part of the funds that we have today here will go towards helping them to expand, will go towards equipping our young people with training in current technology, future technology like EV, so that we can be able to bridge the gap. And in a few years from now, we would want Kenya to be respectively on the automobile map. And I'm happy with this funding, Your Excellency will have done all that is necessary. Now, for purposes of administration of this particular facility, we will work with the commercial banks, but I think what is most important is the turnaround time, because the absorption rate is very important, and I'm sure, having talked to the people who are here, especially the investors, the readiness is at another level, and I'm sure we'll be able to move together and ensure that the value addition we've been asking for is finally here. Lastly, I want to thank you for the vehicle leasing program by the government. it has created an enormous demand for all these OEMs who are here today. And as we move forward, one of our proposals is that we shall give special consideration to vehicles that are produced or part-produced here in Kenya. So the more input you have from Kenya, the higher the possibility for you so that we can encourage local production. Allow me to end there and to invite my colleague from the National Treasury to make his comments. I thank you.
Thank you. Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. Allow me to ride on the already established protocol and go straight into making a few comments. Your Excellency, this journey began a while back, to be exact around 2024, but today it has culminated in the signing of the two documents that we have just signed here. And one is that we are signing the loan financing agreement and also the MOU on how to monitor the implementation of this project, which I think is very, very critical in ensuring value for money. So just two things. Number one is this agreement is coming with about 3 components. Apart from the one that is directed towards the private sector on automobile, we also have the component of the energy component that has been spoken to. And finally, of course, we have a little component on budgetary support. But Your Excellency, going forward into the next financial year, we have given an indication that we would want also to get more involved in getting more funding for budgetary support. So my last comment, Your Excellency, will be that this is in line with our strategy. And our strategy as a country is that we are exploring other alternative, more concessional funding models, given our situation in terms of fiscal space. And this is one of those initiatives where we are exploring other alternative sources of funding, which are much, much more cheaper than the commercial rates at which we have been borrowing. Samurai bond, if you check, you'll find that the borrowing is between 0.5 and 3%, depending on the credit rating of a sovereign. So this is one of those initiatives that we are taking as a government to explore other alternative, more cheaper funding models. And finally, it's also helping us in ensuring that we deal with the foreign exchange risks, which are associated with over-reliance and over-dependent on one particular currency as in terms of our loan portfolio. So I am grateful that this is being realized today, and thank you, Your Excellency. Allow me to take this opportunity to invite or welcome Prime Cabinet Secretary and the CS for Foreign Affairs.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable William Samoei Ruto, Chairman and CEO of NEXI, Kusoda, the Ambassador, Deputy Ambassador, my compatriots in government. Your Excellency, I'll just pick 2 things. One, this is a great moment because it really reflects on one of the most critical aspects that you seek when you strengthen partnerships with other countries on behalf of the people of Kenya. This trip to Tokyo during the TICAD was not in vain. The results are now showing. The second thing I would like to state is that, Your Excellency, as you rightly indicated in the morning, Kenya and Japan have had a strong partnership for many years. And the Deputy Ambassador has highlighted some of the flagship programs we have had together. I just want to encourage them that let us continue building on that so that we can strengthen our partnership even beyond what we have today. Finally, Your Excellency, let me appreciate that not too long ago, about maybe a month or so ago, Japan came through for Kenya at the AFDB conversation, where Kenya was seeking additional support of about 68 million euro to complete Thwake Dam. Japan was one of the countries that stood with you and supported Kenya's request. I also want to say that there are strong voice, not just in multilateral institutions like AFDB, but also in the World Bank. And the same kind of voice they extended within the board of AFDB. I would want to request that they continue to extend that kind of voice in other critical meetings, whether it be the World Bank or any other institution that Kenya associates with and where they are. This afternoon, I've just been responding with Mbandi, who were in Parliament, on Atidi. And as we looked through the shareholding of Atidi, we find that Nexi is a shareholder of Atidi. And this speaks to the very strong message we've been putting across about the need to grow institutions like Atidi, to buttress guarantees for African nations and African businesses. So with these remarks, Your Excellency, it is now my honor to invite you to address us and convey your message. Ladies and gentlemen, can we just be upstanding for His Excellency the President?
Thank you very much. Please, let's take our seats. Asanteni sana. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, today Kenya and Japan open a new chapter in a friendship built over the decades as we strengthen our strategic partnership through new commitments in financing, investment, and development cooperation reflected in the agreement that has just been signed here this afternoon. On behalf of the people and government of Kenya, I thank the government of Japan, the Japan International Cooperation Agency, and every institution that have turned this promise and commitment from an idea into a reality. Special mention goes to Nexi, who have supported us and mobilized these resources with friends from banks in Japan for us to access these resources, as Japan holds a special place in Kenya's development story. From the Mombasa Port Development Project to the Olkaria Geothermal Program, Japan's partnership has been deep, patient, and transformative. As it has always carried a distinct quality, Japan does not merely build projects, it builds people as well. Through technical cooperation, training, and technology transfer, Japan has strengthened thousands of Kenyan professionals and the institutions they serve. That is the difference between a transaction and a partnership. And that is the partnership Kenya seeks with all our friends everywhere in the world. The Kenya shillings 22.1 billion mobilized through this partnership will help advance three national priorities. First, 13.1 billion will drive our national automotive policy. This is the centerpiece of today's agreement and of our industrial ambition. The details have been laid out ably by CS Lee Kinyanjui on what we intend to do with our automotive industry. Key among those will be to enhance our manufacturing capacity, to build our human capital capacity in terms of training and technology transfer, and to support industry players And I'm happy that many industry players, manufacturers of different types of automobiles are here. And it is a conversation that we started when I visited our various manufacturers in Kenya. And today I am very happy that my journey to TICAD in 2024 and my subsequent visit to Japan, where this agreement was signed, today, finally, I have been vindicated that it was not a journey in tourism, it was not a journey to explore places, it was a journey in the best interest of the country. I know often many people question why heads of state like myself travel. As the chief promoter of this country, it is part and parcel of my responsibility and duty to present not just the image of the country, but to also to negotiate priority issues that are of importance to both the people, the government, and the partnership that we have built with others across the world. For too long, Africa has imported what it could build and exported the jobs that come with it. We are changing that. We will not simply import finished vehicles. We will assemble them here and progressively manufacture them here in Kenya by Kenyan workers. This is value addition in its truest form. Every vehicle assembled on Kenyan soil creates Kenyan jobs, builds Kenyan talent, skills, and expertise, and keeps Kenyan value at home. It deepens our manufacturing base, reduces our dependence on imports, and moves us towards a competitive, export-ready automotive sector. Let me illustrate why this matters with an example close here at home. During my recent visit to South Africa earlier this month, we explored ways of boosting trade between our two nations. C.S. Lee was there with me and all the other good people. South Africa sells Kenya close to Kenya shillings 65 billion worth of goods each year, while we sell them barely 6 billion in return. For every single shilling of goods we export to South Africa, we buy 10 shillings for every 1 shilling. But consider what makes up that gap. We send them what we grow: our coffee, our tea, our flowers, our edible oils. And by the way, one of the issues we had to resolve when I was in South Africa was the tariffs that had already been imposed on our agricultural products, including tea and coffee. And I'm very proud that we managed to resolve that issue. And now we can go back to accessing our South African market without the tariffs. Again, that was not a visit in vain. Just for the record. This is precisely why, for them, they send us what they built: motor vehicles, machinery, iron and steel, and finished chemicals. This is precisely why investment in local vehicle assembly matters. When we assemble vehicles here in Kenya and progressively enhance our local content, and finally produce them here in Kenya, we keep the value here at home, and we begin to balance a trade account with our partners around the world that has forever been against us. That is how we close the trade gap, not by buying less, but by building more and adding value of what we produce here in Kenya. That is how an economy becomes competitive. And what is the difference? And that is the difference between a nation that merely consumes and a nation that produces. Early this morning, I was having a conversation with coffee farmers in Kirinyaga, again on the same subject, that now that we have cleaned up the coffee production that was riddled with brokers and middlemen and conmen and all manner of characters, and that today we have a clearer mechanism of our farmers benefiting from what they do in coffee. We increased our participation as government in the agriculture space. We reduced the prices of fertilizer from what was then about 7,000 a 50-kilogram bag to 2,500. I'm very happy that in this year's budget, which I will be signing tomorrow morning, we have added the money that will go into supporting farmers to access farm inputs, fertilizer, seeds, and chemicals by up to 18 billion Kenya shillings. The conversation we were having with the coffee farmers is that now that we are producing more and that we have a target to move our production from 50,000 metric tons, that is today 52,000. In the next 3 years, we want to produce 150,000 metric tons. We want to plant on 100,000 acres in the next 3 years. We have provided 2 billion shillings to buy additional seedlings. Once we have cleaned up that space, today we are seeing earnings of coffee that have moved from an average of 30 or 50 shillings a kilo to today 120 and 150 shillings a kilo. But that's not enough. We need to move earnings for farmers to between 200 and 250. And that will only happen if we do value addition. The same thing we are discussing with this automobile space, that we need to do more with our labor. We need to do more with our value. We need to add value to what we use, what we consume. And that is why this meeting, as has been said, is a very significant meeting. It has not only opened new partnership with our friends in Japan, but it has also is historic because this is the very first time the government of Kenya is accessing the Japanese market with a samurai bond. It has never happened before. Not more than 2 countries in Africa have traveled this journey. And it speaks to our strategy to diversify our sources of funding for the big program we have for the transformation of our nation. For us to move this country to a first world country, which we must in our generation, we have to think outside the box. Traditional sources of financing cannot suffice for us to move this country to the next level. That is why we are combining domestic mobilization of resources with alternative sources of foreign financing and diversification to eliminate risk to our economy. That is a strategy that I committed myself to achieve, and we are making tremendous progress in that direction. With the signing of this Samurai facility today, we have opened a new chapter of financing from the Japanese market in a very significant way. Secondly, 5 billion shillings will fund the reduction of energy losses program. Reliable, affordable power is the backbone of every factory and every home. By cutting technical and commercial losses, we lower the cost of energy, steady our grid, and make Kenyan industry more competitive. Cheaper and cleaner power is the foundation of an industrial economy. Number 3, approximately 4 billion will support Kenya's reform and development agenda. This reflects Kenya's confidence and Japan's support in the progress we are making and our commitment to responsible economic management. This will help reinforce essential public services, protect key social investments, and strengthen the institutions that underpin sustainable growth. Together, these 3 priorities carry a single message: Japan's trust in Kenya's direction and Kenya's commitment to manage every cent with discipline, transparency, and accountability. The Deputy Ambassador here has spoken to my message at the State of the Nation address. I'm very happy that you are listening. And I'm also very happy that you agree that the 3 most significant things that Kenya needs to do now is, number 1, to improve our transport and logistics. Number 2, to improve our energy generation, distribution, and access. And number 3, to make sure that we undertake irrigation, water harvesting, water storage, and to build a bigger ecosystem to support our food security and our export strategy. That is also tied to 3 other issues that are significant to us, and that is the security of our state, by making sure that we have all it takes to secure what we have. Number 2, to develop the highest human capital that will power our transformation, and also to make sure that we have a country that believes in itself. We have citizens that believe in their country as we believe in God. So these 3 strategic positions that we have taken and 3 enablers are what is going to inform our journey into the future. I know you have mentioned that Kenya might have more tarmac roads than Japan. That's going to take a while. I mean, in the last 60 years, Japan has done 1 million kilometers. We have 20,000. So mnaona huyu jamaa anatuenjoy. From the look of by the time we move from 20,000 to 1 million, we will have grown gray hair. But at the very least, I have undertaken that in the next 7 years, we must build another 28,000 kilometers of tarmac road in Kenya. And it is not an easy target, but I know it is doable if we sit down and we agree, diversify our funding and resources and access to external resources like what we are doing with the Samurai Bond, create more a safer environment for ourselves to undertake greater economic activity, mobilize domestic resources to the extent that is possible, and we are well on course on that. I've just come from discussing a meeting on productivity, and part of the productivity we were discussing with our public service is how we are going to move our revenue as a percentage of GDP from 14.5% now to 25% in the next 5 to 10 years. So, Mbadi, you have a target on what to do. It's going to be a long shot, but I know you and your team at the Treasury have what it takes, and the whole of government approach is going to give us the opportunity to do that. Let me place this partnership between Kenya and Japan in proper context. Through mutually beneficial cooperation, we are diversifying our sources of finance, choosing cost-effective resources, and standing with nations that engage us as equals. Japan brings capital, technology, and decades of industrial excellence. Kenya brings a young and capable workforce, a growing market, political stability, and a gateway to the wider market in the region. Both nations invest. Both nations benefit. That is the model Kenya and Africa has long deserved, and the model Kenya will continue to champion. To our partners from Japan, I make this commitment: every shilling will be invested efficiently, transparently, and for the tangible benefits of the people of Kenya. We will work hand in hand with all implementing agencies, including industry players who are here, to deliver on time and in full. Kenya is a stable, reliable, and forward-looking partner, and we intend to remain one for Japan. We will expand this cooperation in technology, climate resilience, infrastructure, and industry. And we will measure its success not by commitments we announce today, but by the opportunities we create, the jobs we generate, and the improvements we deliver in the lives of the people. That is my commitment. That is the commitment of the government of Kenya to our friends from Japan, and above all, to the people of Kenya. I want to thank you very much. I know this function was supposed to be held at a different time, but because it was necessary to have it this time, I know some people were inconvenienced one way or another, but I'm very happy that finally we have signed off this agreement. We are supposed to do this tomorrow, but this is a very good moment for us to do this so that we can continue to move together. Please pass my regards to the Prime Minister of Japan. I was with her at the G7, and I did inform her that we were going to conclude this assignment that we started the last time I was in your great country. So thank you very much. My very best wishes. And now the rubber meets the road. Yeah? Tuendelee na kazi. Asante sana.
A round of applause for His Excellency. Your Excellency, that brings us to the end of this session. We, however, have some sample vehicles on the other side, which you can have a look, should time allow, that you can have a look with a few individuals here. So I'll request that we can do a photo. Okay, let's have the CSs, Prime Cabinet Secretary, PSs, and NEXI CEO to join, together with Charged Affairs, please. Let's take our seats, please. Let's take our seats. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you.